This is your super dope homeboy. Do that one again. Oh boy. Where do you want me to start over again at? What? It's me again. Oh, have I got some goodies for you today? Oh yes. Oh yes. Tonight's about Vicky and Troy. I had a fantastic time tonight, Troy said to Vicky as he leaned in closer to her lips. Your breath still smells like steak seasoning, Vicky replied as her lips hovered near one another. Your breath still smells like potato skins, Vicky, Troy stated as he looked right into her seductive fucking eyes. Your eyes look like crisp-cut fries, my sweetest rose. The words flowed from Troy like water from a Zen garden fountain. Would you like to come inside, Troy? Vicky asked in a nervous voice. Troy did not expect to hear these words. My lady, I would love nothing more than to enter your hovel. Sitting on her soft, silk-covered bed under the auburn light, they slowly sipped wine. Don't spill any on my sheets, okay, Troy? Sure thing, Vicky. I will hold this extra tight. They both laughed as he held on to both sides of the glass and made a face like an elf with pointy lips while letting out a high-pitched giggle. But seriously, don't spill a drop, said Vicky in a stern voice. Troy stiffened up, turned around and set his wine glass on her nightstand, and wondered if the mood had changed. Maybe this was just in his mind. His stiff body turned back toward her, his eyes darting around the room, and the insecurities in his mind ran rampant. Here, why don't you take a chance at a roll? Vicky said, breaking the stillness in the air. She poured out from a many-crowned royal bag a 20-sided die. Troy's eyes lit up. He shook off some of the doubt in his mind, and he felt his lap area get warmer. And the sudden semi-chub straightened out of his lumped-up junk mess he had going on. It was a good thing he had set his wine glass down, or he would have catapulted it across her bed. Go ahead, give me a roll, Vicky said as she climbed onto the bed, sitting high on her knees, slowly hiking her skirt up to make herself more comfortable, before sitting down on her heels with her bubbled butt. Troy tried to pretend he didn't just see her high thigh and wasn't about to rip through his denim with his heady-meaty pants lance. With his mind aflutter, Troy gave the dice a roll. He rolled the 20-side dice and it landed on 20. He tried again and landed on another 20. How can that be? Troy thought to himself. He was in a foggy haze trying to tell himself not to look at the soft leg meat of Vicky. He was also surprised that he had just rolled two 20s in a row. He gave the die another roll. A 20. With each 20 rolled, Vicky would let out a moan. Troy was too focused on his consecutive rolls to give the moans a proper response. Another 20, and another 20, and another. They kept coming. He would switch hands to roll, use both hands to roll. He put the die in his mouth once and spit it out. Another 20, another 20. All that he saw was the die being rolled. Everything outside of the die rolling was happening to give energy to his perfect rolls. Pardon me. I forgot to shut that off. The universe was created for this very moment. Every moment happening was to make this moment happen. He knew he was there for this purpose. Everything was a blur. He had no idea how long he had been there, how many die rolls he had made. Then it happened. He rolled a mere 18. That is when things came back into focus. Sounds returned to their normal state. He was no longer in what seemed like a cave of dreams. Sounds no longer echoed in the background of his mind. His tunnel vision dissipated and he looked up and Vicky had both breasts out. She was touching her sweaty body and was close to yet another climax. She licked her own juices off her own finger and with her wet puppy lips said to Troy, I want you to fuck me. Troy stood up next to the bed. He was fully erect. He was wearing jeans, so the strap went to an angle down his right pants leg, instead of sticking straight out like they did in his pajama pants. Troy looked at Vicky sitting in her own big wet spot. I want you to fuck me, Troy. Troy looked at her with his erection growing even tighter in his jeans and said, I already have. Troy tilted his head towards the ceiling, closed his eyes, and extended his arms to the side with his palms up and levitated out her open window. Vicky leaped out of her bed to see where he was going. She called his name, Troy! Troy, come back! Troy, come back! Troy! Troy, come back! Troy! Her call sailed through the night, and he kept going. He was heading straight for the moon. What did he mean that he had already fucked me? Vicky thought. This was our first date. She slowly turned around, replaying the entire evening. That's when she saw it. He had spilt his wine on her bed. I can't get wine out of silk. He did fuck me. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.